There are issues today that are popping up in churches. They're biblical issues, but they're secondary issues. And people say, let's not get to those issues because we want to be able to present the gospel. Those issues are still important, are they not?
Yeah, I've been thinking about this a lot recently, and I'm just sort of developing and changing and shifting in my own opinions on some of these things. Not what is the biblical truth about them, but what is the priority to discuss them and push forward into all spheres talking about them. And I can give you a couple examples. Okay, paying taxes, that's got to be a secondary issue. You know, it's not the gospel.
Unless you work for the IRS.
Right, unless you work for the IRS.
Then it's a priority for them.
But Jesus talked about paying taxes, did he not? He was confronted with what was a hot-button secondary issue, and he went ahead and brought true clarity, perfect answer to the topic right there. Give to Caesar what is Caesar's, give to God what is God's. And divorce, hot-button issue. When he was asked about divorce, there were people listening to him who were going to stop following him because he answered the way that they didn't like. And he went ahead and said, if you do this other than this reason, nah. And so that would have been he did exactly the thing we're not doing. He did exactly the thing we're not doing.
And why are we not doing it?
I think we're not doing it because we're afraid that we'll lose them for the gospel because we targeted this issue that wasn't the gospel.
But is that a narrow view of the gospel?
Well, it is a narrow view of the gospel because the image of God has a lot to do with the gospel as well, things like that. But I also think this, we've underestimated how much these secondary issues are actually our neighbor's primary issues. Okay, that's the center of their worldview is this identity issue, this homosexuality issue, this fill in the blank. And when you would leave that alone, you're leaving the stronghold center of their worldview alone, and that's the thing that's making them resistant to the gospel of Christ. So that if you do win them to the gospel, but you avoid this issue, you may not have won them at all. Because you bring them to church, and you're like, maybe eventually it will trickle out, and they'll deal with their homosexuality, or they will deal with their trans identity issues. But then you find they don't, and when it finally gets confronted, they just bail. So when you then take this one-on-one approach of avoid these secondary issues and you export it to churches widely across the country, we abandon central issues our people are dealing with, and we leave them alone without any guidance from the light of the world on these issues that are destroying their souls.